I was.
Hey, everybody, we're here for a new episode of RLG Cast Reviews. Here's JD. Here's Putty. Their stuff will be in the description below. And today we're talking about X-Men 97. I hope you're ready. We will talk about it briefly. He turned into Wolverine for some reason and also Sonic at the same time. It's very confusing. And Deadpool's his friend, but also he plays Fortnite.
And I turned
Um,
into Sex Men.
he turned into Sex Men. Show them your shirt, kid. The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club.
Oh, the Breakfast Club movie. Oh, never mind.
No! Saturday morning
He
cartoons,
didn't get
breakfast
it.
I get that.
cereals.
I get.
He didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
He didn't get it. But now we
Oh,
got
yeah.
it. Anyways, we're going to talk about X-Men, and Putty's going to tell you what the show's about. Spoiler free first, and then we'll talk about spoilers. And then there will be a follow-up video on Porco Rosso's channel where we're going to talk about everything
Good
in
movie.
depth.
One of Miyazaki's best.
It is
Yeah,
one of his
right.
best.
It is a
Voiced by Michael Keaton.
continuation of Michael Keaton as Batman.
No, tell him what it is.
Okay, no. X-Men 97 is the continuation of the original X-Men 92 series that lasted till X-Men or 1997. That is now the continuation of that same said series that also was like what made us all pretty much become addicted to mutants and X-Men in general. That brought the world X-Men and mutants in general. But it continues from that and with a lot of cool stuff from the comic books. A lot. We'll get into that later. But yeah, that's it. It's a show about mutants that are being pushed away and not and being, hated for being a mutant. And
You know
they
what's
fight the bad
weird?
guys.
I I always watched X-Men the cartoon and I always loved it. It's like one of my favorite things ever. But I never liked X-Men comics. Is that
Really?
weird? Like I never ever wanted to read X-Men comics ever.
So
That is
glad that
interesting.
I did because but that was the number one for me. Like the reason I learned about other characters is because they would bleed into it. And so of course if I liked the character, I'd go pick up their comic books. Everything mutant I was obsessed with. X-Force, X-Men, all the others were astonishing, amazing. You know how they kept on changing the subtitle names from Uncanny to other stuff. I liked it. And then even when they branched out with the Age of Apocalypse, you had Gambit and the Externals, you had that's when I think that brought Astonishing X-Men first, if I remember right. I can't remember exactly.
Giant size X-Men #1.
There's prime example, exactly. There's so many, and that's right there is where we brought Jim Lee and literally like changed the way X-Men was. So it's a very monumental thing that for me that we got a continuation because like name another and a lot of ways too, which we'll get into later, we might be, I feel, possibly getting more cartoon revisits, but we'll get to that later in another part of the video.
So cartoon revisits. Yeah, I always just read Batman because Batman's cool.
Yeah, Batman's the best.
Wow.
Let's talk about the show. What general thought the logical process is? I think as an entire piece of media, I think the story works really well for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way it came together was good. It was nice to have a superhero show where it wasn't just a beam of light that was the bad guy. It was also nice to go in a new direction and talk about new things. And I really like that, which is very different from what Marvel's been giving us. I do think that the show has an over reliance on. They were trying to tell like other stories, but none of them mattered in the end. And we kind of got where we were, and it was like, so why did I waste all this time watching this other stuff?
Why did we do 3 episodes on Friends of Humanity?
Yeah, I didn't get that. And then the episode with Mojo was terrible.
Yeah.
Like I had a fun time with it, but it makes no sense. It
No,
it's
I know
it
it
had
does
nothing
it.
to do. It had all that
And
was.
it's
It
such
was
a,
a 30,
it's such a waste of time.
but it wasn't even a full. Was that the full episode or was
No,
that the
it was only
episode?
half
was
the episode.
Half the
Yeah,
episode. So it was basically a story to tell the bonding between Jubilee and Sunspot.
Which we won't get into spoilers, but that story negates itself at the end.
Yes, at the end, exactly, it does. It wasn't a good.
I of course I'm gonna like it no matter what in that situation. I was just happy she got a little bit thing. I'll be honest with you, that wasn't the breakout for me. At first it was. I was excited she got a part in that. But later on is the part I actually got excited about, which we'll get into when we get into spoilers. There was a moment she had that I was like, this is
I already know what the
awesome.
moment is. It's when her glasses are broken and she puts her glasses on.
But see, the thing is, I feel like that episode did pay off in that way, where she.
It's
Well, we'll go later.
There is payoff. It's not that there's not payoff. It's they build up side storylines for, and it's like it's not even that they can't come back later, but the buildup of them now felt immediate, as if we're about to get paid off, and then didn't pay off, and then the stories, instead of continuing, just go in different directions, and then come to a place where you're like, okay, why am I here now? And it's not bad writing. Like I said, the writing is good.
The writing
There's
is good.
just choices in between the show that I think a lot of people are just overlooking it and giving it like, oh, it's 10 out of 10, it's an A+, but it's not. It's not even close. It's a really good show. It's amazing. It's one of the best things Marvel's done in a long time. I'm so happy it's back.
Yeah,
I had such a good time watching it, but there's so many
and
little
I have high
things
hopes
you could
for
poke
freshman
at.
year now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just to overlook things that are wrong with it just seems silly to me, because they are things that are wrong with it.
Like you said about the writing, my issue with the writing is they're picking and choosing certain aspects from the comic book, and each aspect that they're picking and choosing is different storylines from the comic, and they don't tell it's like when you think they're going one way with one story, then they're going another way, and it's like.
But I agree with it from the fact of, like, when Putty said earlier off this episode, but that he liked it. It makes sense to me, because they did pick the best parts of those things that they're telling. So for me, it did work. I'm not going to pretend like that didn't work. Yeah. But then when you look at it, like I said, if you take a step back and look at it like from the grand scheme, you're kind of right. It's like there's so many different pieces from different places. And as much as I look at it and I'm like, wow, when you pay super close attention to it, you notice that it doesn't properly link up. There's like gaps in the way that the story flows.
See,
also, the goddamn picture of Gambit, I don't know why they picked a Tinder picture.
Okay, that's great. But again, I feel like spoilers, and I don't want to go into spoilers. Anyway, I want to say this. I feel like what's happening is there's more of a later payoff, because a lot of the stories I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, it could go into another story that can get bigger. See, you have to understand, certain relationships I'm seeing with certain characters made me lead to believe a storyline you guys all know and love possibly happening. But I've also, when I first thought of that, I also thought of what you guys were talking about. Like, okay, there's so many loose ends in each episode.
It's not Age of Apocalypse. They're not doing that.
Yeah, they are.
No.
No, they're not. They're doing Onslaught.
Oh, yeah, but that's like, okay, go, Putty, continue.
Yeah, it's exactly what you both just said. Exactly what I was trying to get into. I was excited to talk about, because Onslaught and Age of Apocalypse have their own connection through all that connection together. And I believe
people don't remember that Onslaught story was not very good.
I know, but I think
it was okay.
But what I think they're doing is they're taking the Onslaught story as a side story they're going to put into the next season, which I feel, again, we're getting into spoilers because.
The music is great. The animation is great. Anyone who's
the Genosha episode was fantastic.
Yeah. Anyone who's here and you don't watch anime, or you think that you don't like anime, this is not like the original series of X-Men, in my opinion. This is very, very much more anime inspired.
The quality of animation is much higher.
It's higher. The action scenes look like anime. They feel like anime. The storytelling feels like anime. It's so, you would probably like anime. You should probably check some out if you do like this. Like I said, the music is great. I think the voice acting is pretty good. There's a few iffy ones for me. I really hated Forge until like the last 2 episodes. Like the way he's voice acted, it sounds like
it's not the same actor, right?
Hi, I'm doing this now, and then later we're gonna do this. But then he became, in the later episodes, he felt like he was being a character. You know what I mean? There was like emotion to his story and stuff.
I like the fact that they brought back original Jubilee voice actress for old Jubilee in the Mojo episode.
Yeah, they brought back everyone basically. If you pay attention to it,
except the Cyclops actor, he's dead.
Yeah, and Gambit is also a different guy as well.
Yes, he was the original guy. Was from Kung Fu. The Legend Continues.
Ooh, was it actually?
Yeah, it was that guy.
Oh, no way. David Carradine.
The other guy.
Oh, the other guy. David Carradine.
Do you know that name?
Anyways, so not to leave you hanging or anything. David Carradine reference.
Wow.
So
wow, too soon.
Too soon? All right, we don't want to choke up any chickens.
Oh,
guys, come on.
Autoerotic, baby.
Putty, you're autoing my erotic right now. Give it a score. Shut up and score the show.
Who am I doing it?
Yeah,
I
go
say
for it,
nothing?
buddy.
I'm. You guys know me do it. I'm
A
9
9
out of 10
for
for
him.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue. It's a pretty good show.
For me, 7.8, 7.8.
I'll call it an 8, but I feel like I'm probably slightly above an 8, but I'll just call it an 8 because I don't want to think about it forever. There's too much little things to pick at to be like, oh, it's a 10. But like Putty didn't even give it a 10, so you know that's not a 10.
That's his 9 is his new 10.
Yeah, but if the fact that he didn't say the words 10 tells me that he knows that there are some things in it that are not make it not a 10.
You have to understand, and I'm going to get into it later. It's for me, it's more of the situation of like I'm more excited for the payoff, and I know that's more of a reverse nostalgia situation where I'm like, I have expectations, but it's also because I've read so many of these books when it comes to all the ones, and these are the ones I'm very more close to in kinship, and seeing so many little storylines pop up in this makes me think, okay, they're going to pay those off later on because we still have, again, a payoff that I'm going to get into. I just really want to get into spoilers and talk
Okay,
about
we're going to talk about
Okay.
spoilers now. We're
And
going
how
to
I'll
spoilers.
debunk your Age of Apocalypse theory.
Okay, go.
That's fine. All right. Well, the Age of Apocalypse thing is only based on the whole situation of Rogue and Magneto, but I'm not even going to get into that because
But they're not even together anymore. At the end of the season, they weren't.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying the Age of Apocalypse thing is their biggest payoff. I think it's going to be seasons from now when they do something like that. Okay,
There are
that's
only
what I
3 seasons and a movie. That's it.
Well, maybe the movie could be it. I'm saying, but
for the people out there who don't know the Onslaught storyline, can one of you say the Onslaught storyline?
So the Onslaught storyline, it starts off where Magneto's mind is fractured, and it was due to Professor Xavier locking his memory away. Onslaught was always inside of Magneto, and when Magneto's conscience was locked away, Onslaught took over Magneto's body. And it was caused due to the fact that he ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine's body, which they did.
That's cool to me because if people don't know, and I don't remember what issue it is, but it's somewhere in the more recent zones, like in the 2000s.
It was Wolverine 99, I think it was.
So Reed Richards tells all the Avengers, or I'm pretty sure, that if the Wolverine actually has super strength, but he can't use it because his body's using so much energy to fight back against the poisoning from the metal in his bloodstream. And now that they've removed the adamantium's gone, he's
gone more into a feral,
much stronger than he was
in a
before.
feral state. Yeah,
and his healing will be so much faster. The only thing is he just can't slice through everything anymore.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. That's the one storyline because going into Onslaught is, or at least how I feel is, I feel like what's going to happen in the second series season is that we're going to get that Onslaught payoff, especially since that's going to capitalize also on the Magneto Xavier invading his brain thing, okay, and of course the Wolverine thing. I think what the reason why I brought the whole Age of, or always, you guys were worried about the Age of Apocalypse was because when I did see the signs between Magneto and Rogue, that really pushed the idea because of course, where Age of Apocalypse goes, where Rogue and
but they did that.
I mean, I would take it. I'm not gonna not take it. The way they're doing the storytelling, I wouldn't be upset because they don't seem like they're gonna screw things up.
But see, this is the way I think of it. Either it's like you say, JD. I think it could be in the movie. I think what they're going to do is push the Apocalypse thing now, so that way
Apocalypse is the next. But I think they're going with a different version of Apocalypse. They are going. Gambit is the Horseman of Death.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
That you saw the post credits, right? Everybody saw the post credits with the playing card, right? So Gambit, and remember, who did we not see at the end? We did not see Gambit. We did not see Storm. We did not see Wolverine, and we did not see Morph. And there's your 4 horsemen right there.
I can see that now. But see, that's the thing, that's what I'm saying. But see, they could use this
because Storm was a horseman at one time.
I mean, Angel could always come as one of the horsemen.
Yeah.
And you don't have to use more for Wolverine because you might need Wolverine. Like he might have to be the savior guy.
Yeah.
And then he'll kill Morph once and for all at the end, and they'll be like, "I love you."
But see, this still doesn't stop the Age of Apocalypse storyline in my eyes. I just feel like it would continue on through later on.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
the whole Age of Apocalypse was Legion going back in time and killing Charles before
Okay,
he had a chance to start the X-Men. So
let's
how are you going to rewrite that?
you got so hold on. Let's keep this on track because Putty's episode is going to be us really exploring things, and
Yeah.
I don't want to do that too much here. Where we're
Okay.
trying to really just like focus on what we watched and not so much
Okay.
what's
Okay,
coming.
let's not talk about our theories then.
See,
Yeah.
this is the thing though. I do for me like when we couldn't talk about it in spoilers. There's a few issues I had other than the Tinder picture. Um, the storyline with Rogue is too back and forth. She's like evil, she's doing all this
Good,
shit, but
yeah.
then she comes back and then she goes evil again. Sunspot and Rogue should not have come back. They should now be where they are, in my opinion, like in this time loop that they get caught in or whatever it is. And they should still be with Magneto being evil against the X-Men who are also there with them. Like they don't like each other. There's a group of three and a group of three, and
Yeah.
they don't fucking like each other.
Well, Sunspot
Because-
got left behind with
But
Forge and
I'm just
Bishop.
saying, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it should be
Yeah.
something like that. It shouldn't have been such an easy turn. It to me that happened too fast and it didn't. You could have drugged that out, and that's like me thinking like wrestling mentality. Like I want long-term storytelling there. You passed the title so fast, and I was like, okay, they're just the tag titles in New Japan
And nobody
Strong.
ca-
You know, nobody cares. But that's like I want more depth out of it. Is the storytelling good? Yes. Is the fact that no one's safe, which is where I see the anime type storytelling in it, where like even a main character can just die. And
But we've seen that before.
but I do like that and I do love that and I like the way they're doing it, but I want you to drag it out. I want to feel the emotion of like this person is bad now. Not just 1 second they're bad and then immediately they're good again. Because badass Rogue was like awesome. I was feeling that.
Yeah.
The shift of Magneto made so much sense because he didn't just snap. They made it took a while to make us believe that he was good.
Yeah.
And then he really was good. And then his reasoning for turning bad again made complete sense. Look what they did. They massacred my boy.
Yeah.
And at the same time too, it's really funny. It goes back to the same thing he went before. So like even there's a meme online where Magneto, they say Magneto was right and all that kind of stuff because he is. They literally did exactly what he said was going to happen if we were allowed to do it and everything. And it happened. So of course, this now gives Magneto a catalyst to be like, dude, he's the most badass supervillain, and we love him because he deserves to be that badass supervillain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
But he's a good
thing.
villain because he believes he's doing right.
But yeah, of course.
The Brotherhood are not really villains, but also they are villains.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just he's only about one thing, mutants, and you can kind of understand because look at the focus that's always happened when there's a world that was mutants, it was attacked. How is he going to feel when they don't when society doesn't come to his defense and is more hostile in that situation? Like they showed it so well in this series that it was just frustrating.
I just think he flip-flopped too much. Like
he's
evil, and then he's going to destroy them, and then you know, Rogue and Sunspot join him. Then they're all together as friends again on like in ancient Egypt.
And I thought the bad guy was really good. What's his name? Bastion.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good choice, especially when he went all the way.
Yeah.
When he went all the way, that was to me was super anime. That felt like Ghost in the Shell or like Akira. Like it's just batshit crazy. He's a technopath. He's like all lost.
Like when he's talking, you see like and like his face is like half destroyed, and you see like the human and the machine part. Like that great visuals.
It literally it gave, like I know it's not fully techno, but like he was like a technopath in Akira when he's pulling in when Canada's or not Canada. Oh my god. Whatever, but he's like
Neo Tokyo.
He's like at the end he's like turning into a monster and he's like sucking in all of the computers and like the electronics and he's like getting out of control. That's how he felt. Like he had fully lost it. He was gone. It's like he didn't care anymore. He just wanted to destroy everything. And to me,
they did punk out Sinister though.
Yeah,
but this is the thing. Sinister has never got a proper storyline in any form of X-Men. They tease him to be coming in and then he doesn't go all the way. Even in the animated series before, they bring him in like he's going to be the big bad, and then somehow he's not. He's working for someone else, and it's like, And
the second season is also going to be the payoff on Nathan Summers.
And like I really liked how they did Cable here. Also, we'll spoil that too. The suit that when he throws him the suit and he puts on the
Yeah.
suit, that for me that
What
was
do
like,
you-
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, what do you expect? Black, was it black leather or something like that?
Yeah,
That
black
was
leather.
wicked too. And the fact that he wore the actual Cable suit,
Yeah.
like he put it on.
I mean, the fact
Yeah.
that they wore the throwback uniforms.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh,
like
that made
that.
me
That
so
was
happy.
wicked.
Oh, that was such a great moment.
I've always loved hooded Cyclops.
Yeah, I always liked
Okay.
the brown and more brown
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Wolverine. Pooh Brown. Wolverine.
Poo brown, puke brown, and another kind of brown.
Puce.
And
Puce.
what was the other thing too that I forgot? Now see, we stemmed up, but there's something I wanted to add on there, and I can't remember now. So we'll probably save it for the other one if I can remember.
Yeah, we're gonna have an
the-
in-depth
Yeah.
discussion on
Yeah.
Putty
We'll
Channel.
do a
so,
full breakdown on yours, I guess.
it's a good show. It's
It
really
is.
good.
It's worth watching for sure.
It's just
One of the best Marvel properties out there right now.
I think for me, when I look at it, like I said, when you really look at it and watching as much content as I do, it felt a lot of hubris. Like they were like, we could do whatever we want. Fuck it. Like
Yeah.
I know this is not what happened, but it felt like they thought they could do no wrong and they could just do this and it has a very cocky style of storytelling where they're like, we're not even going to fucking tell you this. We're not going to explain it. We're just going to do it. And then
Yeah.
we're not going to tell you why we're not doing that storyline anymore. And we're doing this one now. We're just going to do it. And you're going to pretend like it never happened. And it's like, no, I remember what you did. But I think it's a really smart building of a small story in which the X-Men feel like the X-Men in season 1 of X-Men, but it quickly developed into like season 3 where the whole world is like in this state of destruction and it's all out. I do wish it wasn't right away a world-ending threat because it got there too fast. I probably could. You could have made 2 seasons out of this, in my opinion.
Yeah, they could have stretched it out a little bit longer, or pump it up to 13 episodes instead of 10.
Yeah, I could have used more turnaround in the middle, right?
Yeah.
You went from Cody Rhodes losing the belt
to him winning
winning the belt to him winning without like the whole year in between in the middle. And I feel like it wasn't always earned, but great show, worth a watch.
Finish the story too quickly.
Anyone want to say anything before I end this? Do. All right, go check out Putty's video. I will hopefully put a link. Knowing me, my brain
Probably
never
won't.
works. So thank you for watching.